Let's check the latest news updates with APARNA VATS.
Namaskar. Welcome to Friends World TV English Bulletin. 19 days after Maharashtra's fractured verdict produced no clear winner in the assembly elections, the state was placed under president's rule. Tuesday evening, after President Ramnath Kovind gave his assent to the Union Cabinet's approval of the governor's recommendation. The Raj Bhavan move came shortly after the Shiv Sena, which parted ways with LI BJP over who should lead the government and tried unsuccessfully to stitch an alliance with support from rivals NCP and Congress, approached the Supreme Court. Challenging the governor's decision not to grant it 3 more days to demonstrate its majority, the matter will be mentioned for hearing on Wednesday. The Congress called Governor Bhagat Singh Koshyari's move a grave travesty and mockery of the constitutional process. A day earlier, NCP leaders, after meeting Koshyari, said he had given them time until 8:30 p.m. Tuesday to express willingness and ability to form the government. Indicating they were still open to the idea of Shiv Sena support, the Congress and NCP said they will first discuss among themselves before they can commence talks with Sena over a possible coalition for government formation. In the Maharashtra House of 288 members, the BJP has 105, Shiv Sena 56, NCP 54, and Congress with 44 MLAs. BJP legislature party leader and former Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, who was unable to form a government, said, despite a clear mandate, a government could not be formed and President's rules had to be imposed. This is extremely unfortunate. I hope the state gets a stable government soon. The Sena accused the governor of rejecting its plea for 3 more days on November 11 in hot haste and said the action is violative of Article 14 and Article 21 of the Constitution. It is precluded from getting a fair and reasonable opportunity of proving its majority on the floor of the House. It said it must be given reasonable time to try and explore the possibility of forming a government. The plea said that the Sena, NCP and Congress are in the process of evolving a common minimum program, and it is for this reason that 3 days' time was sought from the governor. Some news from America. The closed doors of the Trump impeachment investigation are swinging wide open. When the gavel strikes at the start of the House hearing Wednesday morning, America and the rest of the world will have the chance to see and hear for themselves for the first time about President Donald Trump's actions toward Ukraine and consider whether they are in fact impeachable offenses. It is a remarkable moment even for a White House full of them. All on TV, committee leaders will set the stage. Then comes the main feature. 2 seasoned diplomats, William Taylor, the graying former infantry officer now charged the affairs in Ukraine, and George Kent, the deputy assistant secretary in Washington, telling the striking, if sometimes complicated story of a president allegedly using foreign policy for personal and political gain ahead of the 2020 election. So far, the narrative is splitting Americans, mostly along the same lines as Trump's unusual presidency. The Constitution sets a dramatic but vague bar for impeachment, and there's no consensus yet that Trump's actions at the heart of the inquiry meet the threshold of high crimes and misdemeanors. Whether Wednesday's proceedings begin to end a presidency or help secure Trump's position, it's certain that his chaotic term has finally arrived at a place he cannot control and reinforce. The constitutional systems of checks and balances that he cannot ignore. The country has been here just 3 times before, and never against the backdrop of social media and real-time commentary, including from the president himself. These hearings will address subjects of profound consequence for the nation and the functioning of our government under the Constitution, said Democratic Representative Adam Schiff of California, the chairman of the Intelligence Committee leading the inquiry in a memo to lawmakers. Schiff called it a solemn undertaking and counseled colleagues to approach these proceedings with the seriousness of purpose and love of country that they demand. Total impeachment scam, tweeted the president, as he does virtually every day. Impeachments are rare, historians say, because they amount to nothing short of the nullification of an election. Starting down this road poses risk for both Democrats and Republicans as proceedings push into the 2020 campaign. Unlike the Watergate hearings and Richard Nixon, there is not yet a cancer on the presidency moment galvanizing public opinion, nor is there the national shrug as happened when Bill Clinton's impeachment ultimately didn't result in his removal from the office. It's perhaps most like the partisanship-infused impeachment of Andrew Johnson after the Civil War. The framers of the Constitution provided few details about how the impeachment proceedings should be run, leaving much for Congress to decide. Democrats say the White House's refusal to provide witnesses or produce documents is obstruction and itself impeachable. Hearings are expected to continue and will shift, likely by Thanksgiving, to the Judiciary Committee to consider actual articles of impeachment. The House, which is controlled by Democrats, is expected to vote by Christmas. That would launch a trial in the Senate, where Republicans have the majority in the new year. Here is some interesting news from the world beyond. The most distant world ever explored, 4 billion miles away, finally has an official name, Arakoth. That means sky in the language of the Native American Powhatan people, NASA said on Tuesday. NASA's New Horizons spacecraft flew past the snowman-shaped Arakoth on New Year's Day, 3.5 years after exploring Pluto. At the time, this small icy world, 1 billion miles beyond Pluto, was nicknamed Ultima Thule, giving its vast distance from us. The name Arakoth reflects the inspiration of looking to the skies, lead scientist Alan Stern of Southwest Research Institute said in a statement, and wondering about the stars and worlds beyond our own. Arakoth is among countless objects in the so-called Kuiper Belt, or vast twilight zone beyond the orbit of Neptune. New Horizons will observe some of these objects from afar as it makes its way deeper into space. Now some news from the sports world. Dhanush Srikanth won the individual and team gold medals in the men's 10 meters air rifle junior event at the Asian Shooting Championships in Doha. While sharing his joy with his parents back in Secunderabad, the 17-year-old used a bit of English and sign language on the video call. Dhanush was born with a hearing impairment, but we never saw it as something that would hamper his ability and talent. He got his first cochlear implant at the age of 1, but it was replaced at the age of 9 as it malfunctioned. Me and my wife wanted him to believe that he can achieve anything in life, his father Srikanth, who works as a project manager in Bengaluru, said. On Monday, Dhanush paired up with Shreya Agarwal to clinch the gold in 10-meter air rifle mixed team junior title with a 16-14 win over China. And a day later took the individual honors with a score of 248.2 in the final, beating China's Jiang Zhul by 2.5 points. Dhanush had shot 625.3 in qualification. Dhanush's biggest strength has been the ability to handle the situation very well, and he can execute shots as he likes to and as he has practiced in training. In the final, he got a yellow card after he loaded early but recovered. I hope this first international medal will propel him to further glory, says Suma Shirur, High Performance Director of the Indian junior team. Prior to the Asian Championships, Dhanush had shot 252.2 in the junior event at the Nationals trials in June, a score better than the world record of 251.2. He followed that score with a score of 252.1 in the senior men's final in the national trials in September and won the gold medal. Heartiest congratulations to Dhanush. After completing a whitewash over South Africa in the recently concluded 3-match test series, Virat Kohli-led India will host Bangladesh for a 2-match test series starting from November 14. Kuldeep Yadav, who was forced out from the final encounter against South Africa due to an injury, has been included in the 15-man squad. However, Shahbaz Nadeem, who was picked in place of Kuldeep for the final test against South Africa in Ranchi, was left out. Shubman Gill is another youngster who retains his place in the Indian camp. India have got off to a terrific start in World Test Championships with 5 wins out of 5 games. The world #1 Test side recently dominated South Africa at home, pulling off a historic whitewash to take their points tally to 240, taking a big lead over other countries. After the Bangladesh tour of India, the Virat Kohli-led side will face a tough challenge as they tour New Zealand next year. India will play a 2-test series against New Zealand. Rohit Sharma has been the find of the season in the first home series of ICC Test Championship. The new Test opener negotiated with the South Africa pace attack. The 32-year-old scored 3 centuries in 4 innings, including a maiden Test double 100 in Ranchi. Well, that's all we have for you today. I'll be back next week with more news. Namaskar.